Hey guys, welcome back to Design Dreams. Today we're going to create interactive graph that if you click a button on the graph, it's going to animate the progress and the numbers on the graph. So let's begin. The first thing we want to do is either have a frame or a text. To do that, you can press F to create a frame, or you can press T to enable text. I'm going to press T to enable text and type in graph header. And then we're going to wrap it into an auto layout by pressing Shift A and rename this frame as graph header. Within the graph header, select the text again and press Command or Control D to create a duplicate. This text, we are going to convert it into a button. Let's zoom in a little. To make it into a button, let's press Shift A to create an auto layout. And let's call this button. Let's update the text to check status. The font size is going to be 12 pixels, and for the type we're going to select Roboto Condensed. Let's use the same for the graph header. To make our graph more relevant, let's also update the text for the graph header to check network. Again, select your button, give it a padding of 8 pixels on either side and a stroke of blue. The border radius of about 6 pixels. Instead of the bold font, we're going to make it regular by pressing Ctrl or Command B. Select the graph header, increase its width as much as you want, and then for the gap, make it auto. And now let's also update the fill to white. If you want, you can play around with the visuals as you prefer, but for now this basic setup is ideal. Select the graph header again and press Command D to create a duplicate. Bring it down below the previous header and press Shift A to create another auto layout which is going to bind both these headers. Reduce the gap to 0 pixels, and the name for the parent frame, we're going to call it chart. Before we proceed further, let's also update the padding to 16 pixels, and again same for the auto layout below, 16 pixels. Let's update the name of the graph header to graph content. Now what we're going to do, we're going to convert all the content within the graph content into a bar graph, into a progress bar, and the count for the progress. For the button, let's update the text to 0%. Select your button, remove the stroke, we don't need it. And again for the text, let's make it bold. The sizing is going to be around 16 pixels. Now for the progress bar, select the text, check network, convert it into auto layout by pressing Shift A, and let's call it progress bar. Now again select your check network and create another auto layout, and let's call it bar. Delete check network text. For the progress bar, first we're going to give it a fill of gray, something that's light gray. The height is going to be around 48 pixels. The padding is going to be 2 pixels and 2 pixels. And now for the bar, change its height to fill container, and then give it a fill of blue, the same as we have on this button. Select eyedropper and pick the color. Select your progress bar again, align it towards the left, and the width property is going to be fill container. Now select graph content, and the gap is going to be fixed, which is going to be 16 pixels. The gap between the progress bar and the count is going to be 16 pixels. Now the basic structure for our chart is complete. I'm going to select the chart, increase its height, and then select graph content, and its height is going to be fill container. After adjusting the height, let's fix the alignment to bottom left. Now let's add a divider between the header and the content. Select the header, give it a stroke, select individual strokes. From here, select bottom. Change the color to something lighter. Okay, now this looks a proper chart. Of course, we can enhance the visuals as we want. However, its mechanism and the prototyping is still pending. Once this is ready, we're going to copy the count, and paste it anywhere on the artboard, because we don't want it within the chart as of now. Zoom in, we're going to frame this selection by pressing Command, Control, or Option, or Alt G. Now let's also update the layer name to count. Select the text within the count and press Command D. Select count again and do a flow of vertical so that our items are stacked vertically. In the entire count, all the percentages are 0. Now we're going to update these percentages at an increment of 10. 0, let's make it 10, make it 20, make it 30, 40, 50, 70, and we need 3 more. Press Command D, Command D, Command D 3 times. 80, 90, and 100%. Alright. Once the count is ready all the way to 100, select the parent frame and let's call it count frame. And then what you're going to do, you're going to select clip content. What this is going to do, this is going to hide everything that is outside the frame. Select your count frame, come to your component, select the previous version of your count and press Ctrl Shift R or Command Shift R to replace that count. Finally, let's adjust the positioning. Select the count, open the count, select all the text and align the content towards the left hand side. Now we are ready to prototype it. To prototype this chart, first we're going to select the chart and convert it into a component. Once it's converted into a component, click Add Variant. Once the variant is added, we're going to rename it as Status Checked. We're going to update the visuals. For the button first, press Shift X to invert the colors. Select the text and change its color to white and make it bold. Select your progress bar in variant 1 and then for the bar within, you're going to decrease its width to 0.1 pixels. And for the second variant, select the bar and bring it all the way to wherever you want it. So 90% is going to look something like this. And for the count, what you're going to do, you're going to press arrow up by pressing Shift so that you can then select the value as to whatever value you want it to be. So now we have 2 states for the graph. Time to create the prototype. Jump into prototype mode by pressing Shift E. Select this button which says check status. Connect it to second variant. Interaction is going to be on click. Change to status checked and animation is going to be smart animate. Now to test the prototype, select the chart, copy its instance and paste its instance anywhere. Convert it into a frame by pressing Command, Control or Option or Alt G. And let's see it in action by clicking present. As soon as I press check status, you will see our graph is moving from left to right and the values are also changing. Let's slow the animation a little. Let's say we're going to make it about double the time, which is going to be 600 microseconds. Go to the present tab, press R to reset the animation, click check status. So there you have it. So this way you can create an interactive graph which is not only updating the progress but it's also changing the count. I hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Design Dreams for more Figma and UX UI tutorials.